From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonder's WOW Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the WOW Report, where we count down the top 10 things of the week that make us go wow. But this week, because it's Christmas, we're counting down the top 10 Christmas tunes that make us go ho, ho, ho.
Ho! Ho, ho!
All right, so it's a special Jingle Bell countdown, and I'm Fenton Bailey, co-founder of World Wonder, joined by our Chief Creative Officer, Tom Campbell, and, of course, James St. James, editor of the WOW Report.
Never heard of him.
A very special guest at number one, so stay tuned.
Yes.
To the very, very end.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I will
Someone
tease.
who is Santa Claus to the gay people, at least in my life. Anyway.
There you go. Exactly.
Number 10.
Number 10.
I don't know if you guys watched Saturday Night Live this past Saturday.
Yeah.
Aaron Butler, I believe, was the host. Is that his name?
No, Austin is his name, but you can call him Aaron. I'm sure he'll be fine with that.
Austin Butler, who's gorgeous. I got to say, there were only two great parts, and Austin's lovely. They didn't do him well. One was the wonderful Bowen Yang played Krampus as like an affected gay Gen Xer. Hilarious. Go see that. And the other thing that blew my wig off, if I was wearing one, was hearing Lizzo perform the classic Stevie Wonder song, Someday at Christmas. I love this song. I always have. I always will. Stevie, who I've seen in concert, I've gone to his Christmas Tots thing where he sings it. He remade it a few years ago with Andra Day. I think I made you guys listen to it then. And I was delightfully surprised. You know, Lizzo has got to a place where she's kind of at the top of her game. What a year, the Emmy and just everything that's happening to her. And so when she, you know, it's a little bit of a risk for her to do something different. And she performed as Lizzo, but totally a beautiful standing there, microphone, beautifully voiced version of Someday at Christmas. And I want to share it with you and our listeners now. And we're going to list all these songs, people watching on YouTube, we're going to list all these songs on the WOW Report, worldofwonder.com.
You know, she really is at the top of her game. And we are so lucky to have her. She is the best of the best. It's just she's going to be one of the all-time greats, I think.
What is it you love about this song, Tom?
It's so full of optimism. I think there's, you know, we know how crazy and yucky the world is, and we know that things go wrong more than they go right, but we still somehow cling to a hope that things will get better, if not for us, for the next generation. And that's what the song says. And it's also written by or co-written by Ron Miller, who's not a household name, but he wrote a lot of stuff for Stevie Wonder. Did not write this song. It was before he was writing his own stuff. And Ron Miller also wrote an incredible classic that Stevie was the first to record called For Once in My Life. You know that song? For Once in My Life, I won't let sorrow hurt me. One of the most recorded songs in history. He also wrote Touch Me in the Morning, co-wrote it by Diana Ross. But
Touch Me in the Morning.
So the fact that he has a Christmas song that gets played every year and now re-recorded, and it's just the right thing for Lizzo to do. It's hard to do new Christmas songs. When you do a cover, it gets compared, but I think she really did a great job of capturing the essence and making it her own.
All right, so it's Someday at Christmas by Lizzo.
Someday at Christmas. We're going to put everything on the WOW Report. There's I think it's like a video on YouTube, I know, and there's also, I think there's an exclusive with Amazon Music or something, but I've been listening to it nonstop since Saturday.
All right. We're counting down the top 10 Christmas songs that make us go ho, ho, ho. Number 9, James.
Number 9.
Mi burrito sabanero, mi burrito sabanero. I need to tell you about a song that you probably don't know about, but I am here to spread the word, okay? In this winter of 91 or 92, I think it was, I was living in South Beach in Miami. Okay. And Power 96, which was the local dance station, had this song. It was a classic Spanish song by Choco. It was this little boy, and he sings in Spanish, Mi Burrito Sabanero, about a little boy riding his donkey to go see the baby Jesus in the manger in Bethlehem. And it's a song that every Spanish person knows. And he put it put a beat to it. He put a house beat to it, and he remixed it, and it took off in Miami. They played it 3 times an hour everywhere and on every car that drove past, you heard "Mi Burrito Sabanero." You'd go to the clubs and you'd go "Mi Burrito Sabanero," and everyone would go "Mi Burrito Sabanero." And at 2:00 in the morning at Warsaw, they would play it, and every queen would scream and run to the dance floor. It was this huge, huge deal. Okay. So I'd forgotten about it. And then when we came up to time to do this list, I remembered it, and I went to YouTube and I found it remixed by DJ Laz for Power 96, Choco, Mi Burrito. And I started looking at the comments, and the comments were like, "Yo, this is my jam. South Florida in the house. I grew up in Broward County in the 90s. And I grew up in Fort Lauderdale." And it was just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people remembering this song. And apparently, to this day, Power 96 plays it 3 times a day, 3 times an hour, starting in November on this dance radio station. And everybody in South Florida knows. So this is a shout out to all my South Florida friends who listen to the show. Mi Burrito Sabanero.
Quick question before we listen: should I do poppers, or can I just listen to it without poppers? What do you think?
You can do poppers. You can do meth. You can do a little tiny bit of Adderall. I don't care what it is that you do. You can have some chai tea, and you listen to it, and you are going to start dancing. It's this little boy going to see the baby Jesus on his Mi Burrito. Here we go.
And we're going to list all these songs. People watching on YouTube, we're going to list all these songs on the WHAM report. Worldofwonder.com.
Mi Burrito Sabanero, Mi Burrito Sabanero.
What does it translate as?
And my donkey, Mi Burrito, my donkey. He's a little boy on his donkey going to see Jesus.
All right, that's Mi Burrito. I was thinking burritos. I was in a sort of Taco Bell sort of thing.
Well, interestingly, a burrito, it translates to a donkey.
Learn something new every day.
Burritos, you're eating donkey meat.
Well, isn't burrito, like ito means little, right?
Yeah, like a little horse, a little donkey. Donkey is a burrito.
Because
Yeah.
it's a burro, right?
A burro, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Fantastic, James. Thank you.
Something every week.
I know, right? Number 8.
Number 8.
Okay, so I'm British originally, and when I was growing up, there was a glut of Christmas songs. I mean, the Brits just love to put out Christmas songs. And one year, 1973, do you remember a band called Wizzard? See My Baby Jive. Oh, this was the era of glam rock. And Wizzard were they had a man in a monkey suit. They had kind of purple hair. It was sort of glam rock, but also kind of like down at the it was just everything mixed in. It wasn't really glam rock yet. It was sort of just visual chaos. And Roy Wood, who was the leader of the band, who was one of the co-founders of ELO, one of the greatest bands of all time, they released a song, I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. And it's a classic. Every year it gets re-released in the UK. 30, 40, 50 years later, I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. Let's listen.
And we're going to list all these songs. People watching on YouTube, we're going to list all these songs on the WHAM report. Worldofwonder.com.
Now, the thing is, this did not get to number 1. It did not get to number 1 because of Slade, who released Merry Christmas, Everybody. And Slade, you know Slade? They were like
Bing
a
a
glam rock.
gong. Didn't they do Bing a Gong?
No, that's T-Rex.
Oh,
Slade
sorry.
were kind of like, but same era. Slade were this kind of glam rock band in a way that Wizzard was sort of glam rock psychedelic. Slade were glam rock pop, and they had a song called Merry Christmas, Everybody.
Wait, you get 2? I don't understand.
If you were listening, which I suspect you weren't, I would just set up the whole story as being dueling Christmas songs. The entire raison d'etre of the piece is that British people release a lot of Christmas songs and they battle it out for the top spot.
And if you're watching the YouTube, you have to go to worldofwonder.net to find the links to these songs because of the rules of the YouTube.
James will be there watching and listening, I'm sure. Anyway, that's 1973. Slade, Merry Christmas, Everybody. And Wizzard, I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day, dueling for the top spot in the British chart in 1973. Forgive the rather large recap, but that's just to catch James up so that we're all on the same page.
We learn, the things we learn.
Me Burrito. Let's take a quick break. Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 15 premieres exclusively on WHAM Presents Plus, except USA, Canada, and Australia. And also on MTV USA. First episode, double premiere, streaming free, January the 6th, 2023, with new episodes of Untucked premiering 10 p.m. on Friday. Cool. You're listening to the Top 10 Christmas Countdown here on the WHAM Report. We'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to World of Wonders WHAM Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the WHAM Report, where we count down the top 10 things that make us go wow. And this week, because it's Christmas, we're counting down the top 10 Christmas jingles that make us go ho, ho, ho. And we've reached number 7. Tom.
Number 7.
I was born and raised Catholic, and as a little child, I took the Christmas ritual and the Christmas story very literally. As time has gone on, I really appreciate Christianity, and I love the message of Jesus. I'm not always in love with the way people have taken and interpreted and used Christianity, as a weapon and against people when Jesus was only about love and acceptance. But so sometimes I'm not as thrilled with religious Christmas music. There is an exception, and it is the song, What Child Is This? Particularly a version produced by David Foster, who is a master musician, that he did a few years ago. And it's a collaboration between Andrea Bocelli, this beautiful, Italian tenor, and Mary J. Blige and David Foster. It sounds like an unlikely combination, or it would be super square. It's the most soulful, most meaning. And what I got from the juxtaposition of his very formal, beautiful operatic presentation and Mary J. Blige's beautiful, soulful, guttural tradition is, What Child Is This? Celebrates Jesus the King and Jesus the Child. Every lyric is about his majesty and his frailness and his commonness and his humanity, and that he's a little baby. And that's what I realized. The myth, whether you believe it to be literal or a story, but the idea that a child can come to earth and the slate is wiped clean and all is new and there's possibility again in the world, I think is what makes Christmas so meaningful. My brother had his son Brady 8 years ago and has changed the world, and I'm sounding like a cornball, but it's like a child changes the perspective. Even though they get caught up in things, it's just like the idea of Jesus, or just every birth is another chance for the world to be born again. It's just beautiful. And this song, What Child Is This? By David Foster, Mary J. Blige, and Andrea Bocelli really captures that for me. So take a listen, or if you're watching YouTube, go to worldofwonder.net. What child is this? What child is this?
Let's just use that and not even touch Andrea Bocelli. And
These are great lungs on you, Tom.
So there you have it. I love that song, and Oprah loved that song. I heard it first on Oprah, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it. Merry Christmas.
Let's move on to number 6, James.
Number 6.
Number 6, another sort and kind of obscure, depending on how you grew up or your viewpoint. It's a song called "In Our World" from Emmet Otter's Jugband Christmas. I don't know if you guys remember this. Emmet Otter's Jugband Christmas premiered in 1977 on HBO, and it's a Muppet special. They're Muppets, so it's Jim Henson and Paul Williams wrote the score, and it's the story of Ma Otter, and she's a widow, and they're poor, and she's raising her son Emmet, and Emmet wants to buy his mother a piano for Christmas, and she wants to buy him a guitar. And so it's sort of an O. Henry story where there's a competition in town, and the winner gets $50, and so they both enter it unbeknownst to the other. And he puts together a jug band with his friend, and they sing a song, and she sings an old song that she remembers from her mother, and it's sort of a sad song. And they both enter, but there's this a bunch of rats who would play a punk rock song, and they end up winning. So they both end up losing. And Emmet has destroyed his mother's washing board to sing the song. He puts a hole in it to make a string for it for his band, and she takes some money or something. I don't know. They both sort of do an O. Henry thing, but they both lose. And at the very end, they are walking back together, and they decide to combine the two songs together into one song. And then they sing part of it, and she sings part of it, and they slow it down, and it's called "In Our World." It is so beautiful, and my mom and I used to watch every single year. Emmet Otter's Jug Band Christmas. It's a Muppet special. Take a listen to this, and I hope you love it as much as I do. There you go.
Oh, beautiful.
And you can hear all the songs in this Christmas song countdown. They'll be listed at the WOW Report and also on our YouTube channel, WOW Presents. What is a jug band?
A jug band is like an old time country band in which they use like blow into a jug, or they use a washboard that they make like percussion with the washboard. They use sort of like found instruments,
like Deliverance,
like in Deliverance, yes.
Without the sodomy, correct?
Or you can put the sodomy in. It depends on your family.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Happy Christmas, War is Over. Let's take a listen.
And we're going to list all these songs. People watching on YouTube, we're going to list all these songs on the WOW Report, worldofwonders.com.
If you join us.
So, James, I take it this is not one of your favorites.
No, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic.
Why was that music?
Well, that's just my singing. I'm a terrible singer.
When I said it, you went, ugh. Like,
I was going, la, 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 la. I was trying to sing, but all you hear is like grunts and groans.
Yeah,
I'm such a terrible singer.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't realize until actually very recently that it was actually a protest song because of the war is over bits. Yeah, I just thought it was a Christmas song, and so this is
no. They were very anti-Vietnam.
Right.
Yeah.
For 2
like
years,
or something.
Right, they've been doing the bed protests with John and Yoko, and they first recorded the song in 1969.
But it also had a huge resurgence in the early 90s with Desert Storm, and then after 9/11, they played it a lot again. It's had a number of times when it's become very sort of viable. And,
I believe last year or the year before, Miley Cyrus did it on Saturday.
Yeah,
Miley did a hot version.
And then didn't Julian Lennon recently sing it too? Didn't he bring it back?
They did. That's absolutely. All of this is completely correct, and it began life as a billboard campaign. John and Yoko, I think they bought up billboards in 12 major cities, and it just said, "War is over if you want it. Happy Christmas from John and Yoko." And out of that came the song. And the other thing I didn't know is that song is produced by Phil Spector was in the studio as well. And I don't know. To me, it just has a magical sound that just gets me every time. It's some sort of amazing thing.
Quincy Jones once said, when you're making a recording, you have to leave room for God to come in. And that recording is filled with spirit, doesn't it? Like there's just something so indescribable and beautiful about it.
Right. Yes, exactly. All right, let's take another break. I'll just tell you, though, that Making the Yuletide Gay, a very special Paul Lynde Christmas, is airing now on WOW Presents. It's our special Christmas special, and it's written by Emmy winner, comedian, and gay icon Bruce Vilanch. And it might also be a good time to tell you that we have a very special guest later in the show. I'm not going to reveal who it is. As we continue our countdown of the top 10 Christmas songs that make us go ho, ho, ho. We'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to World of Wonders WOW Report. Things that make us go wow.
All right, welcome back. We are counting down the top 10 Christmas songs that make us go, ho, ho, ho. And we've reached number 4.
Number 4.
I get a little melancholy around the holidays. I think everyone does. Doesn't depress me, but it just, I don't know. Parents are gone. Christmas is past. Christmas is future. And I love to celebrate that feeling. I don't think it's a gloomy feeling. I just think it's real. And there's 3 songs, only one of which you have to play a song for, Blake. But there's a beautiful song by Dinah Washington, a lot of people don't know, called Old Santa. And it's just slow and beautiful and deeply Dinah Washington. And then there's, James, have you ever heard of Joe Stafford back from the big band days? You'd know her if you heard her. Joe Stafford, she's just beautiful. She sang, "See the pyramids along the Nile." But she has a song called Christmas Blues, which is just, her voice is like butter. But the one that I think captures it best and kind of captures my New Hampshire roots and what the deep white crispy snowy winters is Canadian Joni Mitchell's River. I know, but I love it. It's coming on Christmas, and she just wishes she has a river to fly away on. This is Joni Mitchell, River.
And you can hear all the songs in this Christmas song countdown. They'll be listed at the WoW Report and also on our YouTube channel, WoW Presents.
You know, Tom, I'd never heard that song before. It's totally new to me.
Shut up.
No, all 3 of these are new to me. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm very excited about this.
God, well, I love them all. I am a hunter. The only other, whatever, we'll do another time, but there's a song called New Year's Resolution, which is Otis Redding and Carla Thomas, which is the most sexy, bluesy Christmas song. I listen to them all.
I know a cover of River. That's how I know the song by a group called Travis from the UK, and it was on the OC Christmas CD way back in the day.
It's a classic.
Yep.
Are you heading east, Tom, for Christmas?
Yes, I'll be on the East Coast for a couple of weeks before I head off to the United Kingdom.
I do miss the snow. I like a little bit of snow.
Oh, you're having a Mexican Christmas, aren't you?
Yes.
And you leave tomorrow.
Yes, we're going to where the meteor hit. And wipe
that's
out the
right.
dinosaurs.
Will you play My Burrito?
I will. Burrito. Yes.
We will now.
All right, let's carry on with our countdown. We've reached number 3, James.
Number 3.
I'm going to continue in this melancholic vein for a second here because I want to say that probably my all-time favorite Christmas song ever is Judy Garland singing "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" from Meet Me in St. Louis. It's a scene where she's singing to little Margaret O'Brien, and she has never been more beautiful. She is never more at the top of her game vocally. Everything about this is just, it encapsulates everything that is sort of sad and melancholy and wistful about the season. It's a sad song, and just those lyrics where in the year, what is it? Through the years we all will be together if the saints allow, hang a shining star upon the highest bough. And it just reminds you of all your friends and family who are not around anymore. And every time I just sob and sob and sob, and I love it. And it's and all the fun and hubbub and everything about Christmas. It's nice to sort of slow down every once in a while and just listen to these sort of sad songs and make you think about just what the real meaning of Christmas is.
When she did it, was she the first one to sing it?
I believe so. Yes, it was made especially for the movie Meet Me in St. Louis, and it has since taken off. And a number of people have done it, but to hear Judy, there's nothing like it. She's just okay.
That's one of my favorite Christmas songs, and I had no idea that it originated from that. Thank you.
Yeah. The more you know.
All right. Well, I'm feeling a little sad now. Number 2.
Number 2.
Thank goodness we have Whamageddon. Now, have you heard about Whamageddon?
Sort of. Explain it. People want to hear Wham or they don't want to hear Wham. It's one or the other. I can't decide.
Exactly. So the Wham song is
Last Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you. 1984, Last Christmas. And it's become so popular that starting, I think, around 2010, this game, Whamageddon, started. And the idea of the game is that as of December 1st until December 24th, the end of midnight, December 24th, you're in the game as long as you avoid hearing Last Christmas by Wham.
What?
But if you hear it, you've been Whamageddoned. You're out of the game.
But now there are about 100 different versions of it. Does it have to be the Wham version? Because
third rule of Whamageddon is only the original version applies. So you can listen to remixes, cover versions. That's fine. It's just the original Last Christmas.
No offense, but I don't want to live in a world where I don't hear the original Wham Last Christmas during Christmas. I don't want to live in that world. I don't know where I'd go.
Well, maybe have you heard Last Christmas yet this year? Okay.
I have.
Yeah, it's funny because I was out driving the other day and I heard like 5 different versions over the course of the time I was driving. It really is sort of ubiquitous. It's almost as ubiquitous as Mariah at this point.
Right, but I don't know why. I mean, it's okay, but it's not the greatest Christmas song.
It's smooth.
It
His
is.
voice is so beautiful. And it's another one of those melancholy love.
It really makes no sense. The lyrics to it are absolute gobbledygook.
Last Christmas was spent 5 weeks at number 2. It didn't make number 1 in 1984. Do you know why?
Well, it could only
Madonna.
be
I think Mariah.
I'm going to say Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
No. Do they know it's Christmas? Band-Aids, do they know it's Christmas was number 1.
So beautiful.
It is. It really is. It's another case of dueling British Christmas singles. And George Michael is on both. So I think that might be the first time a pop star, I don't know whether I have to fact check that. But he also, because Do They Know It's Christmas was at number 1, George Michael gave all the royalties from
Andrew
Last Christmas to the Ethiopian famine fund. So it was two songs.
I thought he gave it to Andrew so that he would always have money.
Yeah. No, he gave it
was
to
that Careless Whisper. It was one of those. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
do,
I
but
think we've talked about that before, but I don't think it was Last Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they donated.
Let's say a prayer for the lucky ones at Christmas time. Thank you.
The B side of that was Everything She Wants. You know, that big chonking bass song.
Wow.
Yeah. And George Michael not only wrote the song, he performed and produced and played every single instrument on that track.
Well, whatever you do, though, do not watch that terrible movie Last Christmas that's based on the song, where it ends up being the story of a heart transplant because I gave you my heart and the very next day you gave it away.
It's a little
literal. He's a ghost or whatever who gave the heart to the girl. She falls him. It's just terrible. It's like
only James can tell you that he hated it and watched the entire thing.
I did. It's just awful.
All right, but this does have a happy ending, this story, because Last Christmas did make it to number 1. 36 years later, in 2021, it made it to the top of the charts, number 1, which makes it the longest single ever from release to get to number 1 until last year, Kate Bush with Running Up That Hill. She took 37 years to get to number 1.
It's not Christmas without Kate Hill's Running Up That Hill. Kate Bush is Running Up That Hill.
So now we're going to Whamageddon everybody. Here goes. Let's have a listen. And you can hear all the songs in this Christmas song countdown. They'll be listed at the WOW Report and also on our YouTube channel, WOW Presents. We're going to take one more break and we're going to come back and reveal the number 1 song and person that makes us go ho ho ho. Very special guest. Very excited to welcome them to the show. Right after the break, you're listening to the WOW Report on Radio Andy.
You're listening to World of Wonders WOW Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the WOW Report. It's Fenton here with Tom and James, and this is our special Christmas show. We've been counting down the top 10 Christmas songs that make us go
ho ho ho.
Yes, jingle bells, jingle bells. And big reveal, huge excitement. Really honored and touched to welcome
Number 1.
Bruce Vilanch. Bruce, you are always our number one.
I am the original ho ho ho.
He is the spirit of Christmas incarnate. Look at him.
When I moved to WeHo, there was no hoes. Yeah. When I was a no ho, there was a lot of hoes.
I have to tell you, Bruce actually has a special relationship with Christmas because on RuPaul's Drag Race 3, you appeared as a guest judge dressed as Santa Claus.
I was Santa du jour.
And you also, I did not know this.
Cisgender Santa Claus.
You also co-wrote the Star Wars Holiday Special.
No!
Yes, I forgot.
Another Christmas strikeout.
You or why wasn't B. Arthur on it? I can't remember.
Yes, B was on it. I kind of helped talk her into that. Mm-hmm.
And that was the episode in which we learned that Chewbacca had a wife and child, didn't we? And we never knew that before.
Actually, Mala and Lumpy.
And did you come up with Mala and Lumpy? Was that your contribution?
No, that was George. That was George Lucas. He named everybody. They're all actually abbreviated names for very long Wookiee names. All Wookiee names have at least 3 vowels and several consonants, usually repeated through the
Lumpy
Lumparoo, I think was the kid's name.
Basically, if you're alive and like 5 out of 10 laughs you have had in your every laugh you have is because of Bruce Vilanch. He has worked with everyone. Bette Midler, heard of her? She's heard of him. Cher, the Donnie and Marie. These are the big people. This is what matters to me.
In fact, listen, I'm sorry. I was just reading Cherry Vanilla's autobiography last week, and she was talking about how very early on in her career, you gave her one of her first big write-ups when you were writing in Chicago. She was in a
I didn't know that. I have to get that book. That's true, yes.
She says that she was performing in a bathhouse, and you came and wrote about it. You just happened to be in the bathhouse when she was performing.
One of those things. The most important credit that was my beat for the Chicago Tribune. They said, "You bathhouse, you."
And did it all kind of start because I know you have an acting role in Mahogany. You appear in the Diana Ross movie Mahogany. Was that correct. A local hire? Was that part of what?
That was a local hire in Chicago. Yes, I was doing. My side hustle was commercials and stuff, but they were all local. And there was one agent in Chicago, a woman named Shirley Rich, and she booked everything. And this part came up in Mahogany of a dress designer. And so she called me and said, "You want to do it?" Fine. I didn't even have to audition. I just went over and did it. So it's a long story. It's all in the book, which I'm writing as we speak.
I hope so.
I'm on a break from digging through the bowels of my career to come up with a number.
How do you spend the holidays? What do you plan for this year?
I lay low because I'll probably be writing because everybody else is frolicking and they're all with their fucking loved ones. So I just sort of I like a retreat, but this time I'm actually going to go to West Palm Beach because this musical I wrote is not premiering, but it's on tour and it's going to be at the Kravis Center from the 28th to the 31st. And can I tell you about it? May I tell you about it? Dive in. Well, it's a COVID project. I mean, it was an idea we came up with, a collaborator and I came up with, and we got a grant to write it, a PPP grant from a theater in Florida. It's about a guy, 40-year-old gay comic who's never happened, who's working as a waiter at Caroline's Comedy Club in New York, just closed. And the pandemic hits, the club closes, his relationship breaks up, and he has to quarantine in the attic of his parents' home in Longview, Texas, where he has an intimate relationship with his imaginary friend, Dolly Parton. So
as we all do, yes.
He comes off a poster in the wall, and they have a very significant evening. And we did a Zoom, they liked it, and I had to call Dolly and get the rights for the songs. I thought she'd shot it down, and she loved it, and she's now our partner. So it's called Here You Come Again, How Dolly Saved My Life in 12 Easy Songs. And we premiered it in Delaware, and then we played Dallas, and now we are going to West Palm Beach. So I will be there for the holidays, for New Year's Eve, raising a glass with my actors.
The unstoppable Bruce Vilanch.
What can I tell you exactly? But until he hits a wall, which happens periodically.
Well, when does the book come out, and have you got a title?
Yes, the book is coming out next year, and it's basically how I wrote the worst television shows in history and lived, like the Star Wars Halloween special and the Portland Halloween special, Star Wars special, and it's called "It Seemed Like a Bad Idea at the Time."
I love it.
and it's just about all the lousy stuff that I've worked on, and I shoehorn in some good stuff while I'm at it, just so it doesn't seem like I'm just hopelessly floating in the ocean like Kate Winslet.
Well, what Tom said about 4 out of 5 jokes is pretty true, because you've written for the Academy Awards, the Emmys, the Grammys, and the Tonys. So you kind
I
of
am
are
the EGOT writer. I've written. I'm award show writers. I know I'm not alone in that, but yes, I've written for all of them, and some of them, like the Oscars, 25 times, and the Grammys, many, and Tonys, and yeah, I've done all of them, and a lot of other ones. Like the American Bulimia Awards, which Kate Moss hosted for years. Fabulous
and
show.
Do you have a favorite Christmas song?
I have a couple of favorite Christmas songs. I have an up one and then a really wonderful melancholy one. The up one is when Darlene Love sings "Christmas Baby, Please Come Home."
Love that song.
She just did it this week on The View. She was singing with she does it every year. She's so fantastic.
It's actually the lyric. It's very plaintive, but the song really rocks. And the other one is gorgeous. It was written for a Peanuts special. It's called "Christmas Time Is Here," and you've heard of Patty Austin sings "A Christmas Time Is Here," and it's Snoopy, and they're doing marshmallows, and all very sweet, and it really
that whole album. That whole Vince Guaraldi album,
it's been Guaraldi, exactly right.
It brings a tear to your eye. Every single one of them is so melancholy and beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it.
But it really does kind of capture the whole the melancholy side of Christmas. I mean, the idea that everybody stops what they're doing and becomes reflective when they're not, passed out in the punch bowl. So that happens too. So and here I am wearing my Aretha Franklin's.
Aretha Franklin, so good.
Aretha Franklin's. I'm totally holiday friendly.
Bruce, thank you for being our number one Christmas song. Oh, also, most importantly, oh my gosh, like amidst all these amazing things you've done, you are also the writer of Making the Yuletide Gay.
By golly, yes.
Yes,
on the WHAM YouTube channel.
Yes.
Wow, well, I did the Paul Lynde Halloween special 40 years ago, and
a classic, a classic.
And great minds around the single track, because this last year we did Hocus Pocus 2, and I'd middlerized on Hocus Pocus 1, and we middlerized Hocus Pocus 2, and it was such a huge monster, 2.7 billion hits on Disney Plus, that I thought, well, if you can bring that Hocus Pocus back, we could probably bring the Paul Lynde Halloween special back. And as I was thinking that, the phone rang. And someone said, we love the Paul Lynde, Scott Rocket said, we love the Paul Lynde Halloween special. Let's do the Paul Lynde Christmas special. And so that this is great, but we had a theme. The theme was that everybody on it was in the closet, and everything was going to be a double entendre, because it was if they all crept out of the closet for a minute in 1977 and did a Christmas show with every double entendre and every coded thing possible. So we had Michael Arrington, who's brilliant, playing Paul, and we had David Hernandez as Salminio and Spencer Day as Tab Hunter, and we have David Maccaccio as Liberace, and Lady Bunny as Lady Bunny, because she was there in the 70s, but we don't tell anybody, and Jackie Beat as B. Arthur, who was not gay, but just sort of fits into the whole thing.
Absolutely.
So they're all dead, by the way. It's all dead people who were in the club for 100, Alex.
You've worked with them all, alive and dead. I love that about you.
Alive and dead. So we shot it a few weeks ago, and it dropped last week on WOW Presents YouTube, and a lot of people watching and are laughing. So I'm delighted.
It's going viral. It is the streaming sensation of the holiday season. So,
oh, good. Something should be, because how many blue people can they watch swim? I mean,
right.
Thank you.
The way of water. That's right.
Sigourney doggy paddling through. And
well, yeah, Sigourney Weaver can hold her breath for
doing
4 minutes.
They have no breasts, but they're doing a breaststroke. It's we need to talk to Cameron about that.
Bruce, thank you so much. Congratulations. We love you. And thank you, everyone, for listening to the WOW Report this past year. Happy holidays, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. And we'll see you all in 2023. Same time.
Yay, Merry Christmas.
Hey.
All right. Take care. Have fun. Bye.